and today I'm going to show you how to make this kid's bow. It pulls about 20 pounds at 28 inches. Alright, we're going to start out with a half-inch piece of Schedule 40 PVC pipe. This is 50 inches long, and there's a center mark, and out from the center mark there's another mark at 2.5 inches either direction. You're also going to mark 8 inches from each end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a flattening jig and flatten from the 2.5 inch mark down to the 8 inch mark. We don't want to make it all the way flat. We want to start round here and then get to flat at the 8 inch mark. So it's going to be a taper. So we use a flattening jig for that to get a nice even flatten all the way from the middle to the end.
This is the flattening jig, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a heat gun and we're going to heat the pipe up between the center mark and the 8 inch mark. We're going to heat it slowly and gently, because if you heat it too quickly it'll scorch the pipe and it'll become brittle, and then when you go to pull the bow back the PVC won't hold up. So we're going to heat the pipe up until it's nice and malleable. You want to be careful when it gets to where it's bendable. It's going to be really hot. If you touch it, you will burn your skin. So we're going to heat it up, and then we're going to use some C-clamps, clamp it down, flatten it, and let it cool down. So once this cools, you can take it out of the jig, and you can see that it's got a nice taper to it. It gets flatter until we get to that 8 inch mark, and at that point the pipe is still round. So we're going to turn around, we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Now as you can see, we have our handle section in the center here. You can see that's got the marks there, our center mark and 2.5 inches out either way. Then from those marks it tapers till it's flat at 8 inches from the end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn this perpendicular and we're going to flatten the pipe that way. And these end sections will end up becoming the cias of this bow. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like.
Yeah.
Alright, as you can see, we've flattened what's going to be the cias, and it's crooked right now. It's not perfectly straight, but that's okay because we're going to fix that later. So the next step is, and I don't know if you can see in the video, is I've drawn a line that's a curved line so that it kind of shapes what the cia is going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out on a saw, and we'll be ready for the next step. Now as you can see, we went ahead and cut out the shape for the cia, but it's still flat. We're going to work our way from right here to the end of the cia, and as we're doing that, we're going to let the pipe go ahead and puff back out a little bit so that it has a little more strength, because if we leave it flat when we string it up, it's just going to bend. But if it opens up a little bit and becomes more of an oval, it'll have a lot more tensile strength. So we're going to go ahead and do that now, and I will show you what it looks like when it's done.
That's a lot of seconds going past.
Now as we're letting this get thicker here to give it a little bit more strength, we're also going to bend it forward. Now you don't want to do too much, just a slight bend forward, and we're going to do this on both of the cias, and that'll just help the performance of the bow. And make sure you also get this seam pushed together all the way. You don't want any gaps there. And make sure you wear gloves when you do this so you don't burn your hand. Awesome. Okay, so as you can see, we've heated this up so that it expands slightly, kind of an oval shape, and the seam, we've made sure that it's pushed together all the way down the ridge of the cia here. And if you look, we've also made a slight curve. Now we're going to go ahead and do this with the other side. After that, all we really have left is to sand this and clean it up, and then to cut nocks, and we can try test firing it. Now as you can see, we've gone ahead and we've cleaned up this edge a little bit, and I've cut a nocked, and I cut this on both sides, so when we put the strings on, that's where the bowstrings are going to rest. So we're going to go ahead and string this up, and we'll show you what it looks like strung up, and maybe do a couple test fires. And here is our finished bow. Well, at least as the shaping is finished on it. So we're going to go ahead and test fire it once here to show you how it performs. Now, to keep in mind is this is just a polypropylene twine that I've used to string it up. When I finish the bow, I like to use an actual bowstring. So, I'm going to go ahead and test fire it once. You can see how the bow performs.
There.
And there we go. Now all there's really left to do is I'm going to sand this down. I will paint it, and then we'll be back to show you the finished product. I'm also going to put a leather grip on the handle. Good? As you can see, this is our finished product. I put an actual bowstring that I've made out of B55 Dicron. It's got a nylon serving on it. I've also put a leather grip. What I like to do with the grip is I put a little arrow shelf here so that you don't actually have to have it sitting on your hand. So this is our finished product. I'll show you one more time firing it. The nice thing about using the actual bowstring is the knock stays where it's supposed to on the string when you're firing it. So as you can see, it's a pretty simple build. It takes a couple hours to build. It's not too difficult, and some very simple tools. So have fun building, and if you'd like me to build one for you, feel free to contact me at my email address. Good.
All right, this is my 7-year-old firing the bow.